In most countries around the world, small businesses provide employment for the majority of people. These small businesses can be an individual or group who are involved in micro-enterprises which generate income. They could be small-scale food producers or farmers, traders and retailers, artisans, street vendors, manufacturers, and home enterprises. As a group, these businesses are important because they help reduce poverty and provide jobs for people who often have few other employment options. These businesses may be formal, but are often informal or unregistered, are often ignored in policy making, are vulnerable, lacking safety nets, savings and resources to cope with emergencies or unexpected events. And in most contexts, women and young people make up the majority of this group. At CAFOD, we're thinking about how to support these small businesses and what this means for our Livelihoods programs. Livelihoods includes the physical, financial, social or natural assets and skills that people need to thrive and live in a safe, sustained and dignified way. Livelihoods and small businesses are important to CAFOD because of our Catholic understanding of the spiritual and creative role of work. Pope Paul VI emphasized that God gave us intelligence, sensitivity and the power of thought, tools with which to finish and perfect the work that God began. Every worker is, to some extent, a creator, be they an artist, craftsperson, executive, labourer or farmer. Support to small businesses could include providing seeds and tools, supporting savings and loan groups, or the organisation of co-ops and group businesses. It could be about providing training in business skills or market systems and analysis. But often this isn't enough. What if small businesses are facing unfair rules or practices that prevent them from getting a good price? Or if they can't get credit, or find somewhere to keep their earnings safe? These are challenges with what is known as the business environment. The business environment describes the policies, institutions, regulations, social norms and practices, support services and other conditions that can together improve or create a general business setting where enterprises and business activities can start, develop and thrive. We need a business environment that supports the work that poor women and men do and enables small businesses to thrive. We call this a pro-poor business environment. When government tackles challenges within the business environment through reforms to regulations or policies, it can make it easier for people to do business. But often the needs and challenges of big business are unlike those of small business, and poor women and men need different support to help their businesses to flourish. To know what issues to tackle, we believe that you need to think small, or understand the specific and unique issues that small businesses face. To better understand these challenges, CAFOD spoke to hundreds of small business owners from across the world. We also spoke to other local experts, including civil society organisations, elected and traditional leaders, government officials, academics, and representatives from traders' unions and informal business associations. The results of our research showed that for small businesses to be more successful, some of the issues which need to be addressed are a broad range of financial services, not just microcredit, which can leave people trapped in debt, the provision of infrastructure and public services, such as roads or physical market spaces, ensuring that there is a demand and a market for people's goods and services, improving people's capacity to run their businesses through providing better education, skills training and healthcare, support services which tackle small businesses' vulnerability and help them to manage risk, such as providing information about markets and prices, or ensuring vulnerable people have social protection. We also found that for business environment reforms to help poor women and men, it's not just what reforms decision makers tackle, it's how they do it. The approach taken to tackle these issues is therefore very important. The approach must consider the local context. We can't assume that business environment reforms that will work in urban Ethiopia would be the same as those needed in rural Cambodia. It's also important that small businesses and their representatives are consulted so that their specific constraints are understood. Issues of power must also be tackled. We need to look at who has the power and the confidence to influence decisions, and must work on building the capacity of people who are left out of important conversations. So to summarise our Think Small research, the findings showed us that to have a pro-poor business environment, how reforms are tackled is as important as what reforms we focus on. This is an important message for decision makers, but what does this mean for our work, especially when some of the challenges that small businesses face require changes in local or national policies? For example, some of the small business owners we spoke to said things like, "My biggest challenge is that the cost of cheaply imported foreign food is so low that I can't compete, and so I can't sell my goods and make a profit. The local tax rate is unfair and means that I have to pay more on my daily income just to be able to trade. Every time I get sick, there is nothing for me to fall back on. I can't work, and so I don't earn." We can't solve these issues just through standard livelihoods programs. Instead, we need to develop different ways of working. For example, integrating advocacy into our livelihoods programs offers a solution. For CAFOD, advocacy is about influencing decision makers at a local, national or international level to change their policies, spending or priorities so that they work in favour of poor people and communities. It's about tackling the root causes of poverty and vulnerability and empowering poor communities so that their voices are heard and acted upon. It is best done in partnership with others, as there is power in numbers. We can use advocacy to work towards a pro-poor business environment. For example, we might try and influence decision makers to build a road in a rural area so that a particular marginalised community we work with has market access. Or we might try to lobby decision makers to buy local rather than imported food for hospitals and schools to boost demand for small-scale food producers' products. This work requires strong local civil society organisations, communities and small business representatives who are confident to take action and speak out on the issues that affect them. We therefore need to think about the type of skills and support that people need to be able to do this work. 5 important things we know so far. The business environment impacts on the success of small businesses and livelihoods projects. Small businesses know their own business best and will have important information about the business environment, how it affects them and what changes are needed. We need advocacy. Tackling challenges within the business environment may require more than programme support. Advocacy should be built into programme design and should support the capacity of local civil society and communities to influence policies that affect them. Building it in from the beginning can strengthen your programme outcomes. Advocacy is best done in partnership, as this builds the likelihood of success. There may be other civil society organisations who are also supporting small businesses that you could work with. This is just the start. You can join the process and shape the work. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about enterprise development and supporting methodologies, please contact CAFOD's Livelihoods Advisor. If you are interested in integrating advocacy into your enterprise development work, please contact CAFOD's policy team and see the Thinking Small resources page.